TGIF. I don't know about you, but this real estate market is very confusing, right? You hear this information over value. Homes are staying on the market. Home prices are supposed to go down. Is it a bubble, boom, or bust? What's really happening in the market? Well, right now, we do understand that demand has slowed down because interest rates are higher. They're twice as much as they were from last year. Now, nationwide, this is a survey with MBS Highway, and basically, there's a certain percentage of people saying, hey, things are almost the same. And then others are saying, no, we really feel the slowdown. And then on top of that, what's the pressure, right? On if there's lower demand, right? Then there's a pricing pressure. Now, depending on where you're at, that pricing pressure can change. So, for example, new home builds. New home builds, they have this inventory. Some buyers are just walking away. So, for new home build, if you have the opportunity, you more than likely will have more negotiating because they need to get rid of that inventory. Unlike a regular seller, right? I can sit, I can wait, but if I have to get relocated, then I still have to move. So you have these new home bills that people are walking away from their contracts. Why? Because interest rates have doubled since they began, right? So our purchase power has decreased, so it costs more money to get the same thing. Okay. So when we talk about weekly housing trends, okay, this is from realtor.com and this is nationwide. So this is where it gets confusing because if you say this inventory is low, if you say demand is low, right, but then prices are going down, why is it that the median list price is up 13%? We have more active listings, up 36%, and time on the market, how much longer it takes for the house to sell is 7 days longer, and mortgage rates are in the sevens plus. Okay. So with all of this that's going on, it's like, okay, so what's really happening in the market? I'm trying to get it overvalued. Prices are going down, boom or bust. Is it a bubble? Is it a correction? Are we in a recession? Not in a recession. We all know we're all feeling the pain because it costs a lot more money to do things now than it did before. Okay. But I did check and see. Went on Google and said, hey, where's the cheapest state to buy a house? Well, believe it or not, you got Iowa, Indiana, Ohio, Nebraska, and Kansas. So as you can see, these homes are less than $160,000 in order for you to get into the market, whether you make it a second home, whether you make it investment property, it just gives you an avenue to go to, right? And then what are the priciest homes for first-time home buyer? Los Angeles, California, then San Diego, San Jose, Miami, and then Sacramento. Can you imagine Sacramento now? Well, now in the third quarter, what we have seen across the country is prices are starting to what? Are they dipping slightly? Because most people think, hey, it's overvalued. But we're not going to probably see what we saw in the pandemic because we had like 20 plus equity growth. Who knew? And that's what makes this market so confusing. So basically what we're seeing is we're seeing that sales are slowing down, prices are adjusting, right? But more than likely, if there's one house and there's 25 people who want to buy that house, who do you think is making those home prices go up? It's those 25 people who want to buy that house. So is it overvalued or is it what people are willing to pay for based on what we're in? But with the interest rates as high as they are now, it is limiting, slowing people down in regards to purchasing, right? Now, I really wanted to be able to say, hey, really, what's happening? Give me some numbers because I'm so confused with really trying to identify because this real estate market it really is an anomaly, right? When 2 years ago, who knew that home prices were going to continue to go up as high as they were based on a lockdown, right? So here goes SDAR providing us this information to say, hey, here go the median home prices from September 2021 and September 2022. Detached means it's a single family house, and attached means it's a condo or a townhome. Okay. Now, in September 2021, the median home price was $853,500. today, September, because it's October, September 2022, it was 915,000. That's a change of almost $62,000. That's a 7.2% increase. Remember how I always say there's equity? So we have an equity growth that we're having, even though the market has slowed down. Okay. Now, if you go into the condo area, it's 565 to 600. That's a $35,000 difference, 6.2%. Okay. Increase from last year to this year. So people ask, hey, Kat, should I buy? Should I wait? What should I do? I always tell people, if you are ready and you've made the decision, to me, the hardest decision is deciding you're going to be a homeowner, is how are you going to get there? What's your plan, right? We have a different plan now because we know interest rates are higher. You have the buy down. That was one of my other videos. And then you also have the fact that, hey, I may have to wait 2 or 3 years and refinance. It just depends on when the recession hits and when rates will go down. And we have to plan it and make sure that it's going to make sense for you to refinance accordingly. Okay. Now, this was quite interesting in finding out the difference in home prices, right? So September 2021 versus September 2022, homes under $500,000 was almost 1,200. And in September 2022, it was 500. That's more than 50, right? That's more of a 55% decrease. Now, check out what's happening with the home prices. So from 500 to 750, then there was almost 9,900 compared to this year of 5,400. Now, 750 to 1 million is 6,700 versus this year of 65. That almost stayed the same. And then everything over $1 million was 7,700 versus 7,677, which again, that's almost the same in regards to what's happening in this market, right? So you're like, wow, because the median home price is 915 in San Diego. What does that mean? Just for example, there's 10 houses. They just add it all up, divide by 10. That's called median home price. So as you can see, there's a lot of homes for sale. There's more homes for sale over $1 million, then 750 to $1 million, and then 500 to 750, right? That is why the median home price is higher now in San Diego. On the right-hand side is where you can see what's going on with condos and townhomes, okay? Now, Fed funds are hiking the rates again by 0.75%. So again, this is the 5th time they're going to do it, and they want to make it a total increase of 1.25% this year, which means 0.75% in November and then 0.5% in December. The Fed fund rate, I think, is around 3.02. So with these hikes, it's going to get them to where they want it to be, because the goal, right, for the Fed is that if we slow the economy down, right, we can lower inflation, right? But the Fed fund rate, remember, that is what I charge other banks to do business. So as it continues to get higher, right, if it's at 3.08% now, how can I give you rates in the 2 when I have to, that's what they're charging me to give to get money, okay? So that is where that part works in. Now, here goes the history of the Fed fund rate from 1980 to 2022. Can you believe in 1980 that the Fed fund rate was almost 20%? Okay. And we're crying now because right now it's at 3%. And in 1980, not only was it 20%, but you also had to put 20% down, right? And it was just a different market that we lived in, okay? As of now, how does this actually affect mortgage rates? Well, mortgage rates are mostly driven by inflation, which as of now, 42-year high. Okay. Now, when the Fed hikes the Fed fund rate, what again they're trying to do is slow the economy down to get that inflation down. Now, they want inflation to get down to 2%. We're at 8%. So hopefully, by doing what they're doing, maybe do some other items besides just increasing the Fed fund rate. Hopefully we can get to where we need to get to sooner than later. Okay. Now, if the Fed is successful in cooling down inflation, mortgage rates will decline, and history has shown us that, because usually when there's a recession, interest rates go down. What's a recession? Well, we had 2 GDPs negative. This third quarter, it was 2.46 increase. So we got a little pause, right? Because we were in the trend of going to a recession. Now the numbers that came out saying, oh no, we had 2.6, so we're not in a recession, but feels like we are, right? And at the end of the day, we have to be careful with a recession, because recession means we slow down the economy, or people are going to lose their jobs, right? So there's a little seesaw we have to contend ourselves with, right? But kind of interesting information when you look and see how this is affected in regards to that. So usually I show you the 10-year treasury with the mortgage rate. So I just wanted to quickly show you the difference between 2022, 2021, and 2020. And this is the 10-year treasury, right? So the average yield was 2.78, and now it's at 3.96. And when you look at 2021, it was 1.45, and year close was 1.52. As you can see, that's 50% less. That's what I'm saying, right? This 10-year treasury almost doubled, right? And so has interest rates, okay? So 2020 is when the average year was 0.089, and the year close was 0.98. So now when we go into mortgage interest rates, you can see here, I just did a 5-year, 4-year trend from 2018 to 2022. And as you can see, where we were here in 2018, which 4.58, and as you can see, trending up 7%, and moving forward, because the Fed fund rate is going to be increased again in November by 0.075%, and again in December, unless the Feds make a different decision. If you have any questions or concerns, give me a call, 619-846-2675.